Hi and welcome back to another lesson of the TI-84 plus CE student course. In this section we're looking at probability calculations, and this lesson in particular focuses on the probability simulation app. In particular we're going to look at accessing the probability simulator, some of the features of the app and the different simulations, some of the settings and advanced settings on those simulations, and how to save data into a list. Okay, so like the transformation app that we dealt with earlier, I really think the probability simulation app comes into its own when you're using it as an exploratory tool. So I'm going to talk you through how to use the app, but I would expect that the best time to use it is if you're looking at maybe a bit of an extended investigation, or you want to do a deeper dive into some of the really common kind of probability tools that are used a lot at school. So like those other apps that we've dealt with, we can access the probability simulation via the apps menu. So that's just the second key along after that math key. So if we head in there, and then you're not actually going to see it on those first list of 9 apps because it's actually the next one after Polysimul 2 there. So the easiest way to get down to the bottom of that list is to actually go up with your navigation key because it's a cyclical menu. And then we can see there 0 is probability simulator. So I'm going to press enter to go into that app, and some of these different simulations that we can access are things like tossing coins, rolling dice, picking marbles, there's a spinner, we can draw cards from a deck, and there's random numbers as well. So we're going to do a bit of an explore into tossing the coins. So if I go OK, the other thing I just wanted to quickly show you as well is like with those other apps that we've kind of dealt with, the graphing keys are really your key navigational keys in here. So if I go into my large calculator display, which looks a bit like yours, you can see there that those white buttons there line up with our graphing keys. Okay, so to get into tossing the coin, we press Y equals, that's going to go OK. And we can see there, this is just our basic coin toss. So if I press window, that lines up with that toss key there. So that'll toss our coin and we got 1 head. Now, if we wanted to do a lot all in one go, I could press trace, that's going to do plus 50. And we can see there that we get a lot more of a simulation. If we wanted 100, there we go, I can do another 50 as well. If I wanted to change some of the settings, maybe I want to use more than 1 coin or look at something else, I can go escape. Again, that's the Y equals button, escape. And I can see that third one along says set. So if I go into there, that's got all of my settings for this simulation. So for example, maybe I want to toss 2 coins instead of 1. And yep, I think that's the only settings that will really change. For the moment, that looks all pretty good. So we'll go OK with that graph button. It's going to tell us we've changed the settings. Are we OK with that? Yes, we are. And now when I toss the coin again, I'm tossing 2 coins. Again, we can do a bit more of a simulation there. Again, I'm going to go escape again, so that Y equals button, and I'm going to go back into settings. So again, using that zoom button to get into settings. But now, hopefully you can see next to that escape button, there's advanced down the bottom as well. So if I go into my advanced settings, which is window, I can actually change the weighting of whether something prefers heads or tails. So maybe I would like tails to be 5 times as likely to come up as heads. So that changes my probability. I can see it there. And I'm also going to change my graph from frequency to probability as well. So I'm going to press enter on that one, and I'm going to click out of my app. So graph for OK. We've changed our settings. OK, yes, happy with that. Okay, and now I'm going to toss my coin again. Again, plus 50. There we go. So we can see we're getting a lot more of tails than we are of heads tails or of heads because we've got that tails being weighted so highly there. Again, I'm going to just escape out of that, and I'm going to talk you through some of these other buttons as well. So here, trace, that corresponds to data. So if I go into that trace button, we can see we've got a whole lot of data here that we can save into lists if we want. So we can save our toss number, our coin 1 data, the coin 2 data, and the total heads altogether. So do we want to save that data? Well, yeah, I do actually want to save it. So I'm going to press Y equals for yes, and that data is going to be saved for me. We'll come back to that in just a second. And then our table as well, on the side graph button, that gives us all of that same information that we just saved into the list. So I can see that TOS number 145 was a double tails, and there was no total heads there at all. So that shows me that as a table. Again, if I press graph, that'll take it back to the graph version. I'm just going to click out of my app altogether now. So I'm going to go escape. That's going to tell me I'm going to return to the main menu. Yes, I am happy with that. To quit the app, again, the graph button to quit, and then it says, are you sure? And yes, I am. So now back in our main screen, I want to show you how we could put some of that data that we saved before into our spreadsheet. So if I go into Stat and into Edit and bring up my spreadsheet, I can see there I've got my lists. Now I'm going to insert a new list in here. So second, insert, that's got a new list, and I'm going to name it one of the lists that we saved that data in earlier. So if I go to second and then Stat, here's got all of the names of my lists here. So I can go down, that was my TOS1, my TOS2. There should be, there we go. Oh, TOS, and that was my TOS number, was that TOS list, and TOT-H is my total heads. So I'm going to put the total heads in there. Press enter, and now that data is going to come up in my spreadsheet. So I can scroll down and I can see, okay, I got one head there, one there, one there, one there. Hopefully we get a 2 somewhere. Oh, look, there's 2, so that was a double head toss, that one there. That was toss number 40. So it took 40 turns before we got that double head toss because we weighted the tails so highly. If I wanted to find out how many out of those 100 or so, actually let's just check. I forgot how many tosses we did altogether. So we did 50 altogether. So 50 tosses. So out of those 50 that we did all together, how many of those came up? How many heads came up all together? So to find that out, I'm going to go into my list operations menu. We've been looking at that a little bit in the stats section of the course. I'm going to go across to math, and I want to find what's the sum of everything in that list that we were looking at before. So again, I'm going to find that TOT-H list. So what's the sum of everything in that list? It only adds up to 10. So that means out of those 50 tosses, remember we did 2 coins per toss. So altogether we tossed 100 coins. There was only 10 heads in total that came out of those 100. Alrighty, well that's it for the probability simulator. I would recommend going through and trying some of those different simulations as well and seeing how you find them, and just doing a little bit of exploring yourself. See you next time.